Hello everyone, my name is Damilare David. I'm also known as Mr. Wijen. It's another session at Wijen's Sex Uncovered for Mr. and Mrs. There's an aspect of Wijen Relationship Clinic that deals strictly with marital sexuality, anything that has to do with sex, romance, lovemaking, the intimacy between couples, and that's what our teaching in here is meant for. And this video usually is a continuation of everything we've learned in our other social media groups, especially the main group on WhatsApp. And because of the capacity of the members of the WhatsApp, we've created extensions on Facebook, which is a private group, and a Telegram group, which we are trying to build now to accommodate more couples or married individuals. So I would advise, if you can't be admitted into the WhatsApp group because of the space of membership, you can join other platforms. That you can join the Facebook or private group. It's private, it's only members in there that can see whatever is going on. You can search for the username Wijen Sex Uncovered. Wijen Sex Uncovered. You can see the Wijen REG and then Sex Uncovered. Or you can use the username facebook.com/groups/Wijen Sex Uncovered. facebook.com/groups/ Wijen Sex Uncovered. And you can also join our Telegram group. The Telegram group name is or the URL to the Telegram group is t.me/Wijen Sex Uncovered. That's t.me/Wijen Sex Uncovered. So we'll be going straight into our teaching for today. And the topic we are going to be handling today, it may not be a very sex-based one, but I can assure you that it's going to add a lot of dignity, and it's going to save a lot of marriages. Today we are in an environment that is suffering from what we call emotional infidelity. Emotional infidelity has somehow become the order of the day. And sincerely, a lot of people have been teaching on this subject, emotional infidelity. And I really want to give kudos to those that are actually teaching this subject, because it is a subtle killer of marriage. It's really a subtle killer of marriage. Not even marriage, every relationship. But because this session is meant for couples or married individuals, so we know that emotional infidelity is something that looks unreal, but is happening, and it is killing a lot of marriages. And a marriage could go on for a long time, and you may not find out that one or both parties in the marriage are engaged in emotional affair. That's another name that can be given to emotional infidelity. So that's why we are using this opportunity to talk about emotional infidelity and its effect on sex life. And we have decided to involve the sex life in this topic, because I found out that many people who even try to teach about emotional infidelity really capitalizes on, or many of them capitalize on, the effect on the relationship, immediate relationship between the man and the woman, not necessarily the effect in the marital bed. We have decided to talk about the effect of emotional infidelity on our marriage in our marital bed, because we deal specifically, majorly on anything that has to do with marital sexuality, as in I mean sex uncovered. So since this is what most of our counselors, our church counseling committee don't really mention, so we have decided to talk about this. So we'll be going into this topic saying emotional infidelity and its effects on sex life. It may not be about the OT funny sex teaching, but it's seriously going to save some marriages' sex bed. As I said initially, this may not actually be like, okay, how to have sex, how to have good sex, like we always say in most of our teaching, but this is still going to move around our sexuality, but not really about how to be better about what you do in bed this time around, but about how it makes your marriage saved from emotional infidelity. And let's start by picking some words. Let's look at emotional infidelity on its own. Definition: emotional infidelity, as simple as cheating. Let's just put it that way. That is, infidelity actually means cheating in marriage. There could be a lot of definition for it, or more expanded definition, literal meaning, but let's just call it cheating in marriage. So now, if infidelity is called cheating in marriage, what does emotional infidelity now mean? So it has many translated definitions, but they all come down to the same thing. So which means, let's say, imagine a situation you are so close to someone who isn't your partner. There is no affair. Nothing physically happened. A situation whereby you are close to somebody, but there's no physical touch, no sex. You see, at this point, it seems like something deeper than friendship is happening. Emotional infidelity is having a crush on someone else, even if it isn't happening for real. It's a form of closeness to someone who isn't your spouse. Mostly secretive, but a non-sexual intimacy. This means both of you may not be sleeping with each other, but yet it's an affair. So it is not until you are having the real sexual involvement with somebody else before we can say you are having an affair with that person, or before we say that you are in an act of infidelity. So infidelity can be emotional. As much as both of you are not getting involved in physical romance, having sexual intercourse, that does not mean that both of you are not in an act of emotional infidelity. So we've been able to go through that. Let's go to the next slide. It's also an affair because the closeness is secret. The things you talk about or show each other are supposed to be what husband and wife do. In simple breakdown, a relationship without romance or sex involving exchange of emotion. That is what emotional infidelity is all about now. Both of you are not having sex. You're not having romance physically, but you are still exchanging those acts in abstract sense. You are not together, but you feel this level of emotions that are supposed to come from sex, that are supposed to come from romance. So for you to know if you're emotionally having an affair with someone, ask yourself these questions. There's something I also mentioned, that one of the things that will make you know that you are engaged in emotional affairs, because that act is secretive. Your partner does not know about it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Your partner does not know about what you are doing. So this makes you to understand that you are having an emotional affair with somebody else. So you should be careful, even if that person is your friend. the level of friendship you are having, is your partner absolutely okay with it? Or has there been a time your partner has complained about it? This is one of the things that will make you know that you are being engaged in emotional infidelity or an emotional affair. So let's look at some questions that you may need to ask yourself. If you've asked yourself these questions and you've not really been able to answer them in a way that your conscience justifies you, then most likely you are being engaged in emotional affair. So number one, the first question is this: does arousal occur when I talk to another person? That is, when you talk to this person, do you have a form of arousal? In fact, sometimes you may not really be talking about anything that has to do with sex. Maybe you're just having normal discussion, but you just observe that even while you are having that discussion, each time you talk to the person, you feel this arousal. As a man, you are having a lot of discussion, another discussion going on in your mind, or maybe you're having erection. As a woman, you're having those electric currents running through your spine, and it is exclusive to this particular man alone, to this particular woman alone. And do I get romantic satisfaction or need from another person? We are meant to get our romantic or sexual satisfaction from our partner, our marital partner, that is your husband and your wife. But is there another person that is giving you this level of satisfaction by words, by contents of chats or messages? Do I stylishly sext with another person? Sexting with another person means that you engage in conversations that tend towards sex to satisfy yourself in form of chat, in form of discussion. Maybe you just enjoy talking about sex with that person. Now, I'm not saying you can't talk to somebody about sex. No, that's not what I mean. But this is strictly erotic, and that is what you do with that person most of the time, or that's what you enjoy doing with that person, or that's what the person enjoying doing with you. Yeah, I'm not saying we cannot discuss about sex, maybe especially when it comes to the educational part, and when we are doing it maturely and with a lot of self-control. Because even in the process of trying to educate ourselves about sex, if you're not careful, we can go overboard, especially when it's between both of you alone. But if it is about a group discussion whereby you are trying to educate yourself, fine. But we are talking about someone now that all you enjoy doing is talking about sex with that person. In fact, erotically, and you can really get a level of satisfaction, sexual satisfaction from doing that. Then you might be getting involved in emotional infidelity or an emotional affair. And the funny thing about it is that you may be involved in an emotional affair and you may not know. You may not know. That's why you need to look at these questions very well and ask yourself sincerely and give answers to them. Am I engaged in a friendship that I can't talk about with my spouse or partner, or you don't feel comfortable revealing the extent of it? Yes, that's another thing, another pointer that shows to you that you may be involved in an emotional affair. That is, if you are engaged in a friendship that you cannot talk about. Do you know that this form of friendship at first may not be harmful? In fact, at this point, you may not even be discussing anything sexual, anything romantic. You may not really be deriving any emotional, romantic, or sexual satisfaction yet. But at the point whereby you feel you cannot talk to your partner about this friendship, you don't want your partner to be in the know, then you should watch it. Maybe emotional infidelity is building up, it's on its way. Emotional infidelity, or let me say, emotion is not something that comes all of a sudden. It builds up over time. And when it starts building up, it does not portray the first romantic, emotional, sexual feeling. It's because once it portrays itself like that, you may, if you're very sensitive, you may quickly know and try to adjust. But sometimes, so many times, it tries to project itself in form of things that are normal, necessary, friendship, things that are safe, in form of a counselor, somebody that can advise you, somebody on whose shoulder you can lean on. That's the way emotion tries to build up. And by the time you recognize that sexuality, emotions have set in, it has already consumed you. And at that point, it becomes a very difficult decision to opt out. So that's why you need to ask yourself this honest question and answer these questions and answer them honestly. Do you feel more comfortable with talking to your male co-worker about your problems than your husband? Yeah. There are some problems you like to discuss with your husband before, and you no longer you found a replacement for your husband. Maybe there's a particular man now that you feel is better to talk to, and you know that, you know what, you will be able to give yourself reasons why you should talk to that person. Sometimes those reasons may even look realistic, justifiable. Maybe that's why our husbands, we husbands rather, we should try and be sensitive. Try as much as possible to give your wife audience. Most of our wives, they need to talk, especially when they've bottled up a lot of things inside of them. Emotion is like a baggage. When they keep coming into you, they keep piling up, and most of the time you may not be able to get rid of them until you talk about them, until you act them out, and they diffuse out of you. So now, when your wife wants to talk to you, so I'm using examples of wives now. Not that it does not affect men, but it really applies to women mostly. Now, when your wife wants to talk to you about some things, it may even be casual discussion about things that happen in her office, that happen between her and her friends, and she looks for a way to say these things out. Let me give you an example. When a woman is not cool with something, maybe she has fought with her friend, or she has something disturbing her and she wants to tell you. If she doesn't say it out, it may even make her fall sick. She may be unnecessarily angry. She may be reactive. Not until she's able to say those things out. When she says them out, she has the opportunity to say them out, she calms down, she's fine, she's able to continue with her life. But when she wants to talk to you about it, maybe because you feel, as a husband, you feel that the issue does not make sense, or at that point, you are thinking about something else. Madam, I'm thinking about how to get to office tomorrow. I'm thinking about how to make money. This issue, this your apropos you want to bring to me now, I don't have time for it. At first, it may look like a joke to both of you. Sincerely, it may look like a joke, sound like a joke. But if this thing continues over time and it becomes a culture in marriage, she becomes so disturbed and she wants to talk. And at that point, she finds somebody else to talk to, a man at that. And by the time she starts talking to that man, she automatically, most times, will not be able to come back to you, because she has found somebody who can give her a shoulder to lean on, a listening ear. And once she gets to that level, most of the time, she sticks with that person who gives her what she wants in terms of listening ear. So if you are a woman or you're a man, you find somebody you feel comfortable talking to than your husband, than your wife, there is tendency that you are emotionally getting attached to that person. I'm not saying it is cast in stone. Because you have somebody you talk to does not really mean that you are emotionally attached to that person. I'm only saying that these are things that may also signify that you're getting emotionally attached to someone. If there is a particular person you always like to confide in, always, other than your husband or your wife, that's that could be a pointer. Even if you are sure that you are not yet emotionally attached, but that's to just put you on a check that, hey, boy, oh girl, are you sure you're not going too far? Most times, this kind of affair starts innocently and graduates unconsciously. You just find yourself in an adult discussion one day, and it's no big deal as adults. All of a sudden, you just realize that what you talk about most times is sex, romance, asking deep personal questions. This is what I said the other time. That's the way it starts. It's subtle. You don't really plan to go into such affair. You understand? It's innocent in normal friendship. And may I tell you, emotional affair is not restricted to opposite sex, especially in a world of now that we have same-sex relationship. When a man can date a man, a woman can date a woman. Yeah, it is possible for somebody to be emotionally attracted to the same sex. You just feel like you like discussing sensitive issues with her, and you both enjoy it. And now this is where you know that there's a problem. You're a lady, you like discussing sex with another lady, and while both of you are discussing it, you are having that feeling, the sexual feeling. You can be getting wet, you can be getting serious in erection when you are discussing sex with another man, and you always like to discuss that sex with another man. So it will get a point in this our generation when we will start talking about same-sex emotional infidelity. If you can have same-sex relationships, same-sex sex, then you won't be surprised that we will start talking about same-sex emotional infidelity. I'm not trying to be projecting, I'm not trying to be a prophet of doom, but that is what our environment may try to start adopting very soon, looking at the trend of things. So, but relating to this discussion, most of our emotional infidelity or emotional affair, let me use the word infidelity a bit less now so that I won't sound judgmental. Most times this kind of affair, they start innocently. You didn't even plan it. It's just a normal friendship that you decided to just go along with, and all of a sudden you just find yourself discussing about things that have to do with sex, romance, all those things. It's fine when you discuss it, especially as I said, at a mature level for the sake of education. But when you now found out that that's what you always discuss with this particular person and you are enjoying it, before you discuss 2 minutes, the next thing you talk about is sex, and you are enjoying it, it's having effect on your body, it gives you satisfaction, then you should know that infidelity or emotional affair is on its way. When you start discussing about sex, romance, or asking questions that are very, very personal and deep, then by that time you should know that you need to take caution or to make extra finding if you are not yet in that affair. Are you neglecting your spouse emotionally? Do I feel reluctant to make love with my spouse, but rather prefer to talk about sex with another person or opposite sex, even if you're not having it? I think it's still talking about the things that may suggest to you that you're in an emotional affair. If one or more of your question is yes, then you might be heading into one emotional affair. If there's a yes to one or two or more or virtually all the questions that we've asked ourselves, then you may already be in an emotional affair, or you're on your way to an emotional affair. And this teaching is trying to tell you that, oh boy, take caution. Don't play with danger. Yes, because emotional affair is danger. The only difference is that it will not let you know on time. Most times, this kind of affair, okay, I think I've done this. It's just repetition. So let's go to the next slide. Now, okay, I think from this last slide, I said you talk about sex, romance, and you asked deeply personal questions. And example of those questions are, where are you now? I mean, now. Are you in the bathroom? What kind of gown are you wearing? So that's supposed to be wearing tonight. Are you not feeling honey in this in this field weather, maybe cold weather or something like that, you must be missing sex. So are you sure your husband can perform? Is your man's penis your wife's breast? Your these are the kind of personal questions that you people may be discussing. And if you at first feel it's no big deal because we only discuss emotional affair, discuss sexual issues because we're trying to educate ourselves, and you're already delving personally, both of you are just discussing this kind of, asking yourself this kind of questions, or you're doing justice to them, my dear, I may want to tell you that a problem is already on its way. Because now, what these kind of questions try to achieve is that they want to, how do I put it? They just want you to set you in the mood, set in the process. So now, if you're not even the one in that affair, but you have somebody always asking you these kind of questions, often. Now, what a person may want to achieve is that the person does not want to ask you out directly, or the person wants to form innocent, so that you won't feel like, maybe you are married, you still now want to start having an affair with me. So most times what they will do is that they will put these questions, they will push these questions forward. And what those questions will now do is that they will start setting you in the mood. Because there is no way somebody will be asking you, where are you? As in, I want to know where you are now. It's not that person sent you on an errand, and the person now wants to find out where you are. No. Or question like, are you in the bathroom? Now, the person may be asking that kind of question in order to satisfy his or her own imagination. Some people, there are a lot of ways people really get aroused. People have their different ways of setting themselves in motion. Or is it in motion? Or they have several ways of, how do I put it? Putting themselves in the mood. Yeah. Some people do it by imagination. They don't need to be there with you. All they need to do is just imagine what is going on with you at that moment. So once they are able to imagine what you are going through, they will be able to satisfy themselves, satisfy their own personal craving wherever they are. So they may be asking you, are you in the bathroom? Or when are you going to have your bath? Once you are able to answer them, they put that imagination into their head, and they start imagining they are with you naked, they are engaged in a romantic thing with you. They try to visualize your sexuality. They try to visualize your nudity. They try to visualize they are there with you. And why they are imagining, they are already fantasizing. In fact, some people may even be getting to the level of orgasm with this. So when you have somebody asking you this question, or if you enjoy discussing this kind of questions or this kind of words, this kind of lines, then you should know that you're already getting entangled with that person emotionally. What kind of gown are you wearing tonight? Now asking if someone, a lady, a woman, about nightgown, when you are not the person's husband. These are sensitive questions, because asking somebody about what he or she is wearing is actually about, you want to imagine what is behind that gown. Another question that you may be asking is, are you feeling honey in this cold weather, in this weather? You want to know if that person is actually feeling cold. And you know that we have this belief that once somebody is cold, very cold, you need to exchange body warmth. Is it they call it Eskimo or something like that, which is transfer of body heat. Is a chemistry term. And once somebody is telling you, in this cold it is raining. Yeah, I know a lot of people that we joke about it a lot, that when it is raining, go and meet your husband. Yeah, it's a good time for weather for two. But when somebody is always asking you, are you feeling honey in this weather, this cold weather? or if somebody is asking you, you must be missing sex. So, and the person just wants you to start missing sex. You understand? Not because you have told the person that you're missing sex. The person just wants to be. You know, there's some things they are better not heard. Once you hear about them, they start bringing imagination. You start giving audience to those thoughts, and you to start thinking you start thinking about sex. And when you start thinking about sex, your husband is not with you, your wife is not with you. The first place, or the first person your feelings will be channeled is that person chatting with you. You become free immediately. Since this person is talking to me about sex, let me just go ahead, let us flow together. So we need to be very careful about the kind of discussions we have. Are you sure your husband can perform? They are subtly trying to tell you that they are better than your partner in bed, so that they are just trying to create a seed. You understand? Not that they really want to have sex with you. A particular day your husband refuses, or your wife refuses to satisfy you. Maybe that particular time your husband is too tired and it's becoming constant. He cannot make love to you very well. The next place your mind goes is back to that other man who is asking you if your husband or your wife can perform. So the next thing you start thinking is, oh, imagine. And when there is a man out there, I have a friend who can actually perform well, and this year man, will just not give his intention into making good love to me. You understand? So most of the time, what those people do is they plant seed. So if you are the ground, you are the fertile ground that people are planting those kind of seed, or you are the person, you are the farmer planting those kind of seeds with words. So it means that you are in an emotional affair, or you are on your way into it. Is your man's penis big like my own? Is your wife's shape like mine? You know, all those things. They just want to create a form of environment. As I said, most of the time, they just want to create the environment. They may not really be interested in having sexual intercourse with you, and they may if they have the opportunity, but they just want to use words to create an environment, so that one day that you are missing, the next alternative you are thinking about is them. So we need to be very careful. Rushing down, these questions and many more are not asking you for sex, but they are just suggesting and creating an environment for your mind to start processing them. Yes, that's what I just finished explaining. So what they do most of the time is that they want to create an avenue, an environment for you to start thinking about those things. It's a seed. It does not even germinate from that first day they drop that seed. It takes time. But definitely, if you don't discard those kind of thoughts, if you don't break those kind of alliances, it will start growing. It may be one of the days that you are in need of them, and you just think you want to fall back. And that's why you can see a woman who just carry a bag and we just travel for like 2 hours to go and have sex with another man somewhere else, because it's a seed that she has allowed to develop inside of her over time, and she has not been able to get rid of it. They just come to drop the seed, and the thoughts start nurturing you until it goes bigger, but you put you in the mood to lust sex or imagine with their pictures in your head. So not necessarily for you to have that sex with them, but you can, so that you can even be admiring them in your head and fantasizing with them. Now, let's go into the second aspect as we're trying to round off. Causes of emotional infidelity. Number one is vengeance oriented. Vengeance oriented. A lot of people go into emotional affair because they want to take vengeance in form of revenge. Many may engage in an emotional relationship just to get back at their partner, or dealing with an issue that hasn't been fully resolved. This could be an abuse, anger demonstration, or cheating that has not been fully forgiven and forgotten. So why so many people go into an emotional affair is because they want to take revenge. They want to take revenge on their partner. And most of the time, it's not really because the partner has cheated on them. No. It's not about cheating on them. Sometimes it is just to, it can even be because the partner abused them, maybe physically, psychologically, and they feel one of the ways to get back at that man is to, or that woman, is to go into another affair. So most of the time, it could be as a result of an abuse. So a man that abuses his wife, please stop. The more you abuse your wife, you are not making her to respect you. You are losing her gradually. You may be losing her physically, you may be losing her in that marriage, and she may still stay in that marriage, and you are already losing her emotionally. So people go into emotional affair when they are being abused, when their partner, or I'm talking about the wife or the husband, gets angry easily. Any small word you shout on them, any small word you shout on your wife, and I just want to, what? Please leave me alone, I'm not have time. If this continues over time, the woman looks for a place. She just tries to, okay, I cannot beat you, I'm not as strong as you, but I can torture you emotionally. Both men and women can do this. And the commonest is cheating, trying to get back at the man. Somebody, your husband has cheated on you, and you feel, okay, don't worry, I've forgiven you. She's just smiling. But really, she has not forgiven and she has not forgotten. Most of the time, that is an act of being vindictive. You may not do it immediately. Even when that particular partner now catches you and says, why are you doing this? And you now tell the person, don't be hurt now. Do you remember 2 years ago, you cheated with your secretary? So you did it twice. I've only done once. So in fact, I've not done as much as you are. And that's why some people, so that's why when there is an issue, we should try as much as possible to avoid issues in our marriage, especially in those that have to do with infidelity, abuse, those ones. But if they inevitably happen, please, let's try and iron this issue out and be sure that this issue are already solved. And if you are the one who is hurt, please, for the love of Christ, for the sake of God, forgive and forget. You don't need to take vengeance, because before God will not see you as somebody who's trying to just make up for how much you have been hurt. God will see you as a fresh sinner, even when he has forgiven your partner. So you are the sinner now, not your partner who sinned initially. The Bible says that the time of ignorance has God overlooked. So it's calling everybody to come into repentance, which means you are now the sinner. So please don't go into an emotional affair because you want to get back at your partner who actually offended you, cheated on you, abused you. And another reason people go into an emotional infidelity is to seek attention, for attention seeking. Yeah, and that's why I will still want to say, please, let's try as much as possible to give attention to our partners, especially men. Please, our women, most of them, one of their love language is attention, quality time. So let's give it to them as much as possible. Try your best possible. It's not all about giving that woman money. Money is important. It's not all about giving her sex. Quality time is important. Find a time and go on time out with your wife. Go on vacation. If you can't afford it for now, have a staycation and make it a quality one. You understand? You may not really travel. If you can travel, go, fine. If you can't travel, stay at home, but make it a quality time. Everything you need to do, if you need to eat, order food, let somebody be delivering. Women, men, we need that quality time. So many people, when they don't have it, in the time of trying to get attention, they fall into an affair. Many fall into emotional affairs when they seek the attention they lack in marriage outside marriage. Yeah, that's why many fall into marriage. The attention they need from their husband or from their wives, and they're not getting it, they try to get it somewhere else. Such attention may be someone who gives listening here, an advisor, a chat partner, a playmate. These are the categories of people that may end up making you fall into an emotional affair. People that advise them. In fact, a prayer partner, someone you tell your problem secret to your praying with you, graduated from being a confidant graduated to a confidant deeper than your spouse. It can even be your prayer partner if you're not careful. The devil tries to take advantage of every good thing. You want your marriage to be good. That's why you need to prayerfully and carefully choose your counselors and marriage partner. Your prayer partner. Because we've seen situations whereby people you pray tell about your marriage, they take advantage of it, especially when they are opposite sex. When you are telling them about what you go through in your marriage, you understand. And please help me to pray for my husband. Please, my husband does not perform well. Please help me to tell God that the Lord should restore our love, so that I can love my wife again. All those kind of things. Yes, it's good to pray together, but please choose your prayer partner prayerfully, because we've seen situations whereby people have taken advantage of those things. What those kind of people do is that everything you are lacking in your marriage, they try to provide those things in themselves, so that instead of looking back to getting those things in your partner, in your wife, in your husband, you now start seeing those things in them, and gradually they feel like you now start feeling like, since this person has it, all those things I need, let me start getting those things in him. And a prayer partner, somebody that is spiritual, I feel like it's even a prayer partner and at the same time an emotional partner, 2 in 1, but it's a sin. It can even be a drive partner, someone you share your ride with every day from office to home, especially opposite sex. Yes, in fact, this one too is very, very common, especially if you are a guy who has a personal ride and there is this particular lady that you always drive home with you. I'm not saying you should not give people lift, but be careful. I'm only saying things that can result into emotional affair under attention seeking. When you have opportunity to be together, when we don't have a lot of time to spend together, some things may not really have opportunity to build. Even when they are trying to build, they are stopped abruptly. They don't have opportunity. Those feelings don't have an opportunity to mature. Maybe you see yourself 5 minutes, and even a form of emotional feeling is trying to build, because you don't have enough time to nurture them. They die. But in a situation whereby you are driving, you are in Lagos traffic for like what do they call it? For like 2 days. For 2 hours. You are in for 2 hours, and you guys just keep talking. You start bonding up. Maybe you are using a manual car in the process of trying to change your gear as a guy, or your hand mistakenly touched a lap, and before you know it, sometimes you may even pretend as if nothing is happening, but really in your mind you know that you have actually touched something. And if you're not careful, if you're not disciplined, you may not be able to get that kind of thought out of your mind immediately. So that's why we need to know ourselves, our strengths, our weaknesses, and we should not get close to things that can dampen our strength. That's why Jesus Christ advised us that we should run, we should flee when it comes to fornication and adultery. It's saying that we should avoid appearances, things that may lead us into falling into the real act. So another thing that can cause emotional infidelity is pity. Yes, it's pity, and this place is very important, especially for people like me who are into counseling. If you are not careful, our ministry could become a snare, and I pray that our ministry will not become a snare in the name of Jesus. Some emotional affairs start from empathy. This is where people are easily moved by compassion. People who are moved by compassion should be careful. Counselors like me, we need to be cautioned so that we won't be ensnared by our calling, ministry, or act of help. It is easy to be drawn down into pity by someone in a pit than pulling such a person up. When you're if somebody is already in a pit and you want to draw that person out, because you are not balanced, that person has higher tendency to pull you down than for you to pull that person up. That's the way it works. People that come to you for piece of advice, for counseling, we should be careful. As much as we want to pity, we want to care about them, we should be careful that emotions don't set in, because that's the problem that usually happens when someone is not careful, especially people that are into marriage or relationship counseling. Pity, many people are in emotional affairs because they want to make the other opposite sex happy. You don't want her to cry, so you want to fill the vacuum. You want to be there at all time and end up entangling in an affair. That's the problem sometimes, especially people who get into this kind of profession or ministry immaturely, just because they don't want that person to cry. See, when somebody comes to you for counseling or for a piece of advice, let them cry. In fact, tears, crying, the act of crying is therapeutic. It's good to cry sometimes. If you need to even leave the office for that person to finish crying, especially women, when they are crying, if you're not careful, you may be moved by emotion. You may be moved by pity. So let them cry. But because you don't want them to cry, you want to fill that vacuum. Her husband is not giving her time and attention that she craves. And you are now the one, after you have counseled her, you now want to fill that vacuum. You are now calling and calling. Hello, how far? In fact, it can even start from follow-up. Has your husband started calling you now? Has he been giving you attention? Has he been making love to you very well now? And she said, yes, sir. No, sir, she has not. In fact, sir, things are really getting worse now. You want to fill the vacuum. You now start calling. Okay, madam, I hope you're fine. Okay, because you have decided in your heart to fill the vacuum, you don't want her to feel bad. I just got to check on you. Hope everything is fine. Please don't worry. God will take charge. Everything will be okay. Don't worry. Your husband will come back to you. But that constant presence, calling, sending them chats, sincerely in your mind, you just want to help. But you're already building a form of interest. Don't let me just using that word. You may be building a form of interest in her. And before you know it, somebody that is lacking something and you are showing that care, she may not start rerouting. You understand? In most cases, she may even be the one, or that person may be the one developing their feelings, because what she lacks, you are providing it in time because of empathy. And even you yourself may end up getting entangled. Even if you don't get entangled, but you have made her to develop an emotional affair for you or with you. And by the time you find out and you want to withdraw, you end up breaking her again. And we know what the Bible says about becoming a stumbling block to people. If you allow somebody to stumble, Jesus Christ said that it's better such a person is being thrown into the river so much that person will be drowned. So please, we're supposed to be careful with how much we try to help people. Just do your professional or ministerial job. Support with prayer. You are not the one that will do the work of redemption or change. I think that my next slide is talking about that. In a situation whereby you started calling your counselee baby, just because you want to make her or make him feel good, you have ended up sending money to the person you are counseling or advising, and your wife must not know that you sent money to that person, or does not even know about that woman or man. You have started sending "I miss you" to that man just because he helped you solve a major problem. Now, this is away from counselors. Somebody just helped you. You had a financial problem, and you said, "Sir, please, I need money for my house rent, my children's school fees," and the man, just with the heart of a child of God, sent you money. And the next thing you started doing is to start sending "I miss you" to that man. Or just say, "I just had, thank you very much." You have thanked the person. Yes, it's good to appreciate. The next day, you call again. The following week, you call to appreciate again. And from there, you start saying, "Thank you very much, sir. I'm just calling because to just check on you and I miss you." Just because the person sent you money, and you started developing feelings. And for those of us that help people, when you need to help, please, that's why I advise, carry your spouse along. You need to send money to somebody. That's why someone like me, sometimes if you ask me for help, maybe money, financial help, or any form of help, I will always tell you to, if I know that you are close to my wife, I will tell you to ask my wife. Even before you call my wife, I would have told her. I may even tell her to be the one to do the transfer or something. That's why any help you don't want my wife to know about, just bother. You have already lost it. You can't get it. And we even have a policy in our marriage whereby this is who should do this kind of thing from our project account or joint account. So we should always try to, so as a man or a woman, any help you don't want your partner to be aware of, especially when it has to do with the opposite sex, be careful about it. You are not the one to wipe away tears. Handkerchief will, Jesus will. So as a counselor, as an advisor, advisor rather, or you try to render help, you just render it carefully and just know that you have done yourself. You've done that for God's sake. You are not the one that will wipe out the tears on that person's face. That person will use handkerchief to do that. Or if handkerchief cannot wipe away the tears, Jesus will wipe it. Jesus is the husband of the widow, not you, Mr. Counselor, because your husband has died. Mr. I will be there for you. You now want to stand in the gap of the husband that is dead. You are not the no, you are not the husband of the widow. God is the husband of the widow. Because in the process, you will end up getting entangled. My father in the Lord, Pastor Shegun Latunde, used to say that it is only the husband of a widow or widower that has died. Their emotions have not died. The sex urge has not died. So there's a limit to how much you want to be close with these people, or else you will push them into emotional interest, or you yourself will get entangled. Don't let your help or ministry be a snare for you. There are some people, it would have been better if they had not gone into their ministerial job or their counseling job, because those things end up becoming a snare. It is that ministry that has helped them. And God has given us this ministry to profit. Yes, to profit, not to make us to fall. So you need to be very, very careful. These are more signs that will indicate you are in, or you are heading into emotional infidelity. Another one is their phone patterns, password or pins are hidden from you, their spouse. They try to prevent you from seeing texts or emails on their phone, laptops, etc. Your partner tells the other person outside things they have not, things they don't even tell you. You know, they often always turn to the outside person to comfort when you're unavailable. They drop hints that they wish you were more like the outsiders. I think I'm going to stop at this point, because the second aspect of this teaching will majorly be talking about the effects. You know, we've spoken about emotional infidelity, the causes, how you can know that somebody is emotionally attached to you, or you are getting emotionally attached to somebody, or you have already been emotionally attached to that person. But the next teaching that will be coming next week or 2 weeks time will now talk about the effect. Now, we won't go back into all these points. We will now talk about the effect. That is the place that many of our counselors have not been really able to touch. The effect on your sex life, the effect on your romance, the effect in your marital bed. Now, we will not be able to look into those things. We've talked about the general effects, how they come up, and the things that cause them. And I think with this, you can do your homework and find out if you are just a friend or you are an emotional friend. And if you're already in an emotional affair, or you are at the verge of entering into one, please, emotional affair destroys. The only thing is just that it does not come suddenly like every other affair. It comes gradually. And because it is gradual, you may not know. It's just like cancer. It would have eaten the foundation. So by the time you know, the people involved have already gone too far. In fact, emotional affair, most times, when they end up becoming a solid physical or sexual relationship, those relationships are hard to break most times, because during the emotional state, they've taken their time to build those kind of affair. They've, unlike when you see a woman and you lust after her and you walk up to her because you want to have sex with her, which is not even good. But that is infatuation. You may even sleep with that woman and you lose interest and you become very guilty and you go back to your partner even to confess. You understand? And you stop. But emotional affair, you are not infatuated like that. You are building the process. Even if it was infatuation, you'll be building the process to the extent that you end up liking that person. And most of the time, if you have opportunity, it turns out to be a major affair that you guys now start having sex, all those things. And most of the time, you will know that this person you are having an emotional affair to is married. You are not concerned about the partner. You are not saying they should break their marriage, or they are not saying your marriage should break. In fact, they will even be the one to advise you on how to make your marriage work. But they know that it will not work out because they've already taken a very serious part of you. They'll even be calling you and be asking, how is your husband? I hope he's fine. Yet, they are the ones emotionally entangled to you. So, please, watch all these examples. That's why I just try to make my teaching, I add slides to them. Why? So that you can always read. In fact, you can decide to pause and watch that slide, read that slide, digest it. Because some things, when you read them and you digest and you think about them, I'm just trying to be a slow speaker now. I used to be very fast when I'm speaking. And sometimes I just say a lot of things that you may not be able to get back. So that's why I try to put it in slides so that you can go back, pause, read, digest, and work on your family. There's no problem that cannot be solved. Your marriage is worth more than that emotional affair. It is not worth losing because of one affair with somebody. And I want you to know that there's nothing that you cannot resolve in your marriage. Every marriage has its own challenges, but we only become victors when we conquer. There's no point when you suffer in your marriage and at the end the marriage still ends up breaking when you can actually do something about it. So what am I saying? Even if you find out that your partner is emotionally entangled, a man with a woman, that's not the time to send that person out. You may even need to check. Maybe you are the cause, you are the reason this person has been involved in that emotional affair. Maybe you have decided not to give her attention. You've not been caring. You've not been meeting her needs or her needs. You are too harsh. You get angry too much. There's a need you are not meeting, even financially, when it is obvious that you have what it takes to buy those things or get those things. So, but whatever the case may be, we can always work it out. We can always work it out. So, next time I'll be coming your way, we'll be talking about the effect on our marital bed. This effect has been discussed in our WhatsApp group, which is the parent group. So, but because I said that most of these groups are just extensions, the major group is the WhatsApp group that we have, and we only have about 10 spaces left, and we are trying to be careful the way we add people. But for the sake of people who may want to join, kindly send a request to our private groups. We have a group on Telegram, we have a group on Facebook. The Facebook group is private, so you cannot even join. When you send a friend request to that group, a membership request, there are questions you must answer. There are questions that we ask you. You will provide us proof that you're married. We ask you for your wedding photo, or we will even tell you to give us your Facebook username. We'll go and look at your marital status to be sure that we are admitting the right set of people. And if you are not in that group, you can't see the messages there. That's why we say it's private. It is only people in that group that can see our messages and that can see themselves. So if you want to join the Facebook group, just search for Regent Sex Uncovered, or you use the URL facebook.com/groups/Regent Sex Uncovered. And for the Telegram group, make the URL is t.me, that is letter t.me/Region Sex Uncovered, or you can search for Region Sex Uncovered on Telegram group. So this is where we put our videos and we do our chat teaching, though the major chat takes place in the WhatsApp group. And these videos are on our channel, the one on Facebook, the YouTube channel. Just search for Region Relationship Clinic, or use the URL youtube.com/Region Relationship Clinic, or look for Region Relationship Clinic on Facebook too. Thank you very much. Share this video with your friends. Share the group links with your friends. Like our channel. If you are liking our channel, if you are following us on Instagram, on Facebook, you are helping us to grow. And as you are helping us to grow, you are helping us to reach out to more people. And as we reach out to more people, you are helping us to solve many problems in marriage, because that is the mandate God has given to us, to attack love life in the area of relationship, a relationship that makes God happy, and marriage, to establish marriage on earth. Marriage. My name is Damilare David, also known as Mr. Region, a coach at Region Relationship Clinic. I will see you some other time, and ensure you follow us and share this video to your married friends. Thank you, and God bless you real good. Amen.